Hello everyone, I'm going to read you a story today called All the King's Tights. I hope you enjoy it. All the King's Tights by Maudie Smith. Kit was packing his bag. He was off to the palace to start a new job. He was going to be the keeper of the King's Tights. Do a good job, his mother called after him. Be good to other people, called his father. Being the keeper of the King's Tights is a very important job, explained the keeper of the King's Cloaks. The King is very attached to his tights. Kit had never seen so many pairs of tights. He only had one pair himself, but the King had hundreds. There were tights of every colour. There were thick tights and thin tights, tights with swirling patterns, tights with tinsel and glitter. Why does the King need so many tights? Kit asked. He has a different pair for every occasion, said the keeper of the King's Cloaks. Stretchy, stripy tights for riding, strong, sturdy tights for playing sports, and shiny, glittery tights for parties. Which tights will the Kings want to wear today? Asked Kit. He was eager to start work. None of them, said the keeper of the King's Cloaks. The King is away. He's in the next kingdom, wooing. Wooing? Said Kit. He'd never heard of wooing before. He wondered what it was. Yes, said the keeper of the King's Cloaks. The King wants to marry the lovely Lady Linda. If the wooing goes well, there may be a wedding. Kit was so sad not to see the King, but he kept himself busy with the tights. He steamed them to make sure they had no creases. He puffed perfume at them so they would smell sweet. And he looked out for the tiny moths that liked to munch holes. Kit watched over the tights all the time, day and night. He was determined to do a good job. Days went by, but the King did not return. Will he be away much longer? Kit asked. Will the wooing take a long time? Well, that depends, said the keeper of the King's Cloaks. It depends on the lovely Lady Linda. She's lovely, but she's a tough nut to crack. I see, said Kit, although he didn't really. Soon, Kit couldn't think of anything else to do for the tights. He'd smothered them and stretched them until they looked perfect. My legs could do with some stretching too, Kit said to himself. He walked around the rails of tights a few times, but he needed a longer walk than that. Maybe the tights will be all right on their own just for a little while, Kit said. He closed the windows, locked the door, and went for a stroll in the palace grounds. While he was walking, Kit saw an old woman. She was leaning on a large sheep. Her eyes were closed, and she was snoring. Hello, said Kit. What you doing? You look as if you should be in bed. Well, I would be in bed if I could, said the old woman, but the mice have eaten my mattress, and I've nowhere to lay my head. I just catch 5 minutes now and again whenever I can. That's terrible, said Kit. Poor you. Kit couldn't stop thinking about the old woman who had nowhere to lay her head. He ran back to the chamber of tights and unlocked the door. He found a pair of the King's stripy riding tights and he took them down from their hanger. Kit remembered the advice his mother and father had given him. He really wanted to do a good job, and he wanted to be good to other people too. The King has so many tights, Kit told himself. I'm sure he won't miss these. Kit used the tights to make a stretchy, stripy hammock. He strung it between 2 trees and he helped the old woman in. She was very grateful. I'll sleep for a week now, thanks to you, Kit, she said. The next day, Kit's legs needed stretching again. The tights were fine on their own yesterday, he thought, so they'll probably be fine today too. Kit found a trail of apples on the ground. He followed the trail until he met an apple seller. The apple seller looked glum. Hello, said Kit. What's the matter? It's my cart, said the apple seller. It's got a huge hole in it, and my apples keep falling out. I'll never get them to market now. Kit thought for a moment, and then he had an idea. The king wouldn't miss just one more pair of tights, would he? Kit gave the apple seller a pair of the king's strongest sports tights. Thanks, Kit, said the apple seller. This apple bag is brilliant. He slung the bag over his shoulder and went on his way to market. Kit enjoyed being good to other people. He liked helping them so much that he carried on doing it. He helped a fisherman to mend his nets. Thanks, Kit. He helped a young cheesemaker to strain her cheese. Thanks, Kit. And when the weather grew colder, he helped a farmer to warm up his cows. Thanks, Kit. Christmas came. And then it was spring, but there was still no sign of the king. Whatever wooing was, Kit thought, it was taking a very long time. One summer's day, Kit met a girl in a blueberry patch. She was jumping up and down like mad. Hello, said Kit. Why are you doing all that jumping? To scare away the birds, of course, the girl said. She pointed to a shabby old scarecrow. That scarecrow's no use. If I stop jumping, the birds will eat my blueberries. Well, maybe I can help, Kit said. Doubt it, puffed the girl. Kit bought the girl a pair of the king's shiny glittery tights, the ones he wore for parties. Kit cut the feet off the tights and put them in his pocket. Then he dressed the old scarecrow in the king's best party tights. The tights twinkled in the sunlight and scared the birds. They flew away at once. Not bad, Kit, said the girl, and she stopped jumping. Just then there was a thundering of hooves. A group of fine horses galloped by. Who was that? Said Kit. Don't you know? Said the girl. It was His Majesty the King. The King? Said Kit. Of course it's the King, said the girl. Who else would it be? But Kit was already running for the palace. Kit ran to the chamber of tights as fast as he could. The keeper of the king's cloaks was already outside the door, and so was the king. Greetings, boy, said the king, and good news. The lovely Lady Linda is visiting, and I'm throwing a party in her honour. If it's a really good party, she might even marry me. I'll need a pair of my finest party tights. At once, if you please. The king flung open the door. Kit felt sick. The chamber of tights was empty. Kit had given away all the king's tights, every single pair. Where are all my tights? Said the king. Whatever can I wear to Lady Linda's party? Kit didn't know what to say. He felt sure he was about to lose his job, maybe even his head. You can wear these, Your Majesty, said a voice. It was the girl from the blueberry patch. She appeared next to Kit and bowed to the king. She reached into Kit's pocket and pulled out what was left of the king's glittery party tights. What in my kingdom are those? Said the king. Party socks, the girl replied. Sparkly spangly ones. These socks are the latest fashion, Your Majesty. A new fashion? The king said. Why didn't I know about this? He put the socks on and twirled around in front of the mirror. Kit and the girl looked at one another and held their breath. At that moment, the lovely Lady Linda put her head around the door. My word, Your Majesty, she said to the king. I never knew you had such handsome knees. Why didn't you tell me? I've always longed for a man with knees like that. Will you marry me? Oh, hurrah, said the king. I will. I'll marry you tomorrow. And he swept Lady Linda right off her feet. The next day, the king and the lovely Lady Linda were married. Kit had a special seat right at the front, and he wasn't just Kit any longer. He was Sir Kit now. Sir Kit, the keeper of the king's socks. And there he is with all the socks. Did you like that? Did you like that story? It's one of our favourites in Year 2. So, if you go over to our website, you might see some activities that you can do all about all the king's tights. See you soon.